This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Doug Smith. Welcome back. We're very thankful that you were able to join us for our podcast today. This will be our last podcast of the week. Tomorrow, we are burying my mother, and I'm not going to do a podcast tomorrow. So this will be the last podcast of the week. That stated, and thank you for all the kind words that I have received in condolences. That stated, we've got some pretty good news to share today, and we got some incredibly good news to share today. Okay, first and foremost, yesterday afternoon, late in the afternoon, the FDA published our citizens petition. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. This is massive. Yesterday, the FDA published our citizens petition. It is now researchable. It is now findable on a government website. That's a huge step forward for us. It's 49 pages long. I apologize for that, but everything is there. All the proof that of what actually happened in the opioid crisis, everything you need is on those 49 pages. And in that citizens petition, which, by the way, we're going to be covering, every day here in this podcast, Monday through Thursday, except for tomorrow because of the funeral, but every day now, we're going to start on page 1 and go all the way through page 49. We're going to go through all the studies. We're going to go through everything. Okay, if you want to fully understand what's in that document, then this podcast is your instruction booklet. Okay, we will walk you through it. Now, look on the screen there. You see a document there in front of you. Okay, now this is extremely important. Okay, now this is gonna be hard for you to believe. But here it is. Here's the absolute truth. That document on the screen in front of you is the document that caused the entire opioid crisis. We were able to trace the opioid crisis back to a single document. And you're looking at it right there. That is the document that caused the opioid crisis. You can see the title. Okay, guidance for industry. That's very important. Guidance for industry. We'll come back to that. Guidance for industry. S2R1, which I don't even know what that means. Genotoxicity testing and data interpretation for pharmaceuticals intended for human use. Now, there's a couple things in there you got to know. Okay. Number one, guidance for industry. Okay, the FDA has put out about 2,100 guidances for industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the food industry. Okay, the industry pays enormous attention to what the FDA says. They live in fear of the FDA. Okay, which is appropriate. That's okay. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. In fact, most things that the FDA does, I'm a huge supporter of the FDA. The more I've looked into the FDA, the more I've learned about the FDA, the more I realize what an incredible organization it is with some fantastic people. But everybody's capable of a mistake, and the FDA made a mistake here. Okay, mistakes happen, but they should have caught the mistake and they should have corrected the mistake, and they didn't. And the mistake is in this document right here. This is a guidance for industry. So whatever the FDA says in this document, it's going to be promulgated throughout the entire pharmaceutical industry. So if there's a mistake in this document, there's going to be a mistake in the entire pharmaceutical industry, and that's exactly what happened. Everybody made the same mistake because the FDA put out the guidance. The mistake is in the guidance. Now, if you notice, look at the word genotoxicity. Okay, that means poisoning to the DNA. Geno, gene, toxicity, poisoning, genotoxicity. So this is the document of what a pharmaceutical company has to do in order to prove to the FDA that their drug does not harm human DNA. This is the document that tells you what you got to do to make sure that your drug doesn't harm human DNA. So if there's a mistake in this document, it could have profound impact on the citizens, and it could potentially cause or allow to happen a massive harming, poisoning of the American citizen DNA. And that's exactly what happened here. It's exactly what happened. There was an error in this document, and it resulted in the millions of people, their DNA was poisoned. A couple things I do want to point out on here. Look at the bottom where it says ICH, International Committee on Harmonization. I have no idea what that is. Really don't care. International Committee. What I do recognize is the word international. I may have no clue what harmonization is, but I do know what international means. It's more than just a tractor. Okay, International Committee on Harmonization. What that means is the FDA didn't write this. They got lazy. They didn't write it. They adopted this. And whoever went through the process of adopting it didn't catch the error. The error, we'll go over the error tomorrow. The error is that this document requires a pharmaceutical company to check for genetic mutations. That's appropriate. And to check for chromosomal abnormalities. That's appropriate. But it didn't require the pharmaceutical companies to check for genetic methylation. methylation to the DNA. And that's exactly what the opioids caused, was genetic methylation. And since the FDA didn't require the pharmaceutical industry to check for it, the pharmaceutical industry didn't check for it, lo and behold, millions of people ended up being methylated because of the opioids. And it's all back to this one single document right here. So what you're looking at on the screen right there, okay, that is the root cause of the opioid crisis. And I think that's just amazing. We were able to bird dog down the cause of the opioid crisis to one document. In fact, we can bird dog it down to one page. Okay, tomorrow we'll show you where the actual error occurred. Okay. This is part of what we're putting on these. This is in the citizens petition, so it's now on the FDA website. We'll put on our website how to get to the citizens petition. Honestly, it just happened late yesterday afternoon, and we're just now beginning to get ourselves organized. The other good news that I want to share with you guys today is I just did a review with our lead researcher in the lab. I don't have his permission to say his name on air, so I won't. Amazing gentleman, brilliant mind. One of the most brilliant minds I've ever worked with. I consider him a friend. We started out as colleagues, but my admiration for him has just gotten to the point where I consider him a friend. He is working tirelessly to bring this DNA test to the market, so that you can have your DNA tested and have it paid for by Medicare, Medicaid, and commercial insurance. DNA testing is expensive. Okay, that's gonna blow the lid off this thing. That's gonna change everything. Okay, all these people that want to run around and say opioid addiction, opioid use disorder, it's a brain disease, it's on your head. Yeah, what are you going to say when now people are getting their DNA tested and it shows damage? What are you going to say then? So, as everybody knows, we're looking to put in place the steps that are going to bring about an end to this ridiculous opioid crisis. Everybody running around. The psychiatrists have made such a mess of this. They've made such a mess. We are not throwing the psychiatrists and the addiction specialists under the bus. They did that all on their own. I will never trust them again. I'm sure there are others who are never going to trust the psychiatrists and the addiction specialists again for the rest of their life. And that's not on us. That's on them. They did this. They ignored the ways of science. They ignored every one of those studies that we've looked at so far. So let's hold here for today. Again, thank you for the kind words. We've got the funeral tomorrow. The family's all sad about that. And while that is a sad thing, I'm actually grateful I was able to spend, I took care of my mom in her final month, and I was grateful for that. And we're very grateful for having the FDA publish our citizens petition, and we're very grateful for the progress that we're making with the DNA test. I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you. Remember, like and subscribe to us. Send me your questions. I enjoy emails from everybody. And we'll see. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Thank you very much.